Let's talk about the other London team. The other London team.
Oh, it's a London affair today, huh?
Yeah, there's the London team, and there's the other London team. Let's talk about Chelsea. Talk about a Chelsea fan. What are you expecting for this season? What's your hopes like?
This is the first season for Lampard. The last season when he had a transfer ban and all that stuff, lost key players like Omar was so obsessed about. Well, I still think he made a good performance by bringing them to the Champions League. That was not the case for the first season of even Klopp when he came to Liverpool, although he had a much better squad. However, with these new guys afterwards, and they didn't have the preseason, now slowly starting to shape up. They've kept the clean sheet for numerous games. It looks brighter, and I think if they have both the clinicality, the luck, and the lack of injuries on the key performing players, they can get closer to Liverpool this year and City than they did last year. And in addition, also, if Liverpool's managed to take less points and City as well, I think they are able to be connected to the title race for a longer part of the season than they were last year.
Are you expecting a title really quick? Are you expecting a title?
Honestly, I don't. But if City and Liverpool start getting injuries and starting losing faith in themselves, and these new boys bring in the performances game after other, then it is possible. But realistically, I still think that Lampard needs at least one more season to make his philosophy well known and the players amongst themselves comfortable with knowing when to pass, where to pass, and how to attack together, which is a little bit still a few games away.
Yeah, but have Chelsea beaten anyone big yet?
Depends on how you define big so far, and that
the
was
top
exactly
six. The top six, like the usual top six, like the Man Cities, the Liverpools, the Tottenhams, Arsenal.
They lost to Liverpool. I mean,
I'll reply to that. First of all, they've only met one of them, and the luck in that game for Liverpool were that Chelsea hadn't even established the players they brought in, so that was
a bit early.
As I see it, if they met them later in the season, I'm 100% sure that they could have put up even a better performance. But that is yet to be seen, and that is yet to be developed. This communication, this structuring, both from the manager's side, player side, and not to forget that manager also has a task once he brought in all these type of different players to make them create an atmosphere and culture amongst them that is productive for the team's results, because that might be an issue for Frank as well, as he's brought in several good names on different positions to make them happy, both while playing and not playing. So it's yet to be seen, and obviously some of the first conclusions will be given once they meet several of these opponents.
But you've followed Chelsea for a while, so like you would know Roman Abramovich, the owner. Do you think he's going to give Lampard time? Because I don't think he'll give him time. If he doesn't get close to the title or doesn't do better than last season, I can see him sacking him.
We know Roman is not patient by nature.
Let me put it this way: that I think, and it goes a little bit the same way for United with Solskjaer as it does for Lampard with Chelsea. Since they've been in the club for such a long while, since they've done good stuff while being there, that he has maybe a couple of more rounds of patience than any other manager would have. Having said that, every manager is dependent on results. And clearly there is an expectations since they made it to the third spot last year, that eventually they have to do it better this year. However, it will, at the best, as I see it, be a tight game between 4 to 5 teams, and most likely less teams. But Chelsea should be closer to the top if Abramovich would have patience with him. Having said that, there's not too many other names available on the market that necessarily does anything better. So that, I think, Abramovich, from his hiring, sacking strategy, he've also learned a little bit that replacing a manager is necessarily not always the only answer. And by that, I think that he might have a little bit more space than he would have had if it was the first season of Abramovich owning the club, or if it was the if they didn't have this experience that they built up for the 15 years Abramovich has been there.
I think what you said, Solomon, was before was good about how it's about finishing better than last year. They need to do better than last year. I think Lampard needs to do better than last year.
Get close.
Yeah, anything less than last year, and last year we could say it was a freak type of thing or whatever it was, but Lampard did very, very well. We spoke about it before on other shows, how he was our most impressive manager in terms of getting that team, which wasn't a great team, but he got them to that third spot, which is a massive achievement. So it's all about getting them closer. I said before as well, he needs to win a title, whether it's not, I'm not talking about the Premier League title, but I mean some sort of trophy this season, whether it's the FA Cup, whether it's the EFL Cup, whether it's a run in the Champions League or whatever it is. There needs to be some sort of
something
success.
to show for it.
Yeah, some sort of success that they didn't have to show Abramovich that, yeah, this is my guy going forward. Because I think early in the season, the questions were raised, can this guy handle, international talent? Can he handle a team that has an expectation now and whatever? And I think slowly, it's taken him time to work out the formation, but slowly he's sort of showing that he can. And I told you before as well, Chelsea's the team that I'm most scared of, because if they start to click, I think if you look at squad for squad, their players, position for position, we're forgetting, Kante for me, probably still the best Premier League midfielder. Yeah, who else, cuz? What are you making that face at? Who's better than Kante in the Premier League?
Listen, I'm just saying,
again, De Bruyne is different. De Bruyne's attacking. I'm talking about that centre mid position. You know what I mean?
Can Kante play centre back? Can Kante also be a world-class centre back?
Yeah, no worries. Fabinho's better than Kante. Okay, no worries, bro. Please. Kante's better than Fabinho. Please.
Look, I'm gonna pick Kante, but I'm just saying Fabinho's coming.
Oh, so he's right.
So I'm right.
Yeah, technically, yeah.
The thing for Abramovich for me is he doesn't have a good track record. You look back when Mourinho came back, they gave him a year to get it together, won the second year, got rid of him halfway through the third year. Antonio Conte comes in, wins the title first year, second year is gone. And then Sarri comes in, wins the Europa League, gone. Like, he doesn't have patience. He doesn't have a good track record there. Maybe you're right about that. Maybe there isn't anyone better, and maybe the fact that it is a favourite son like Lampard, but I still don't think if he doesn't get close, because he didn't bring all this talent for an experiment. He brought this talent to win a title. True?
For sure. I agree with you in a lot of what you say. Obviously, and I think he said it in one of the first press conferences himself, that I didn't come here to manage a team full of academy players. However, I did have a transfer ban as well. So this is more like my first real season where I can actually do something with my team, develop it, promote it, sell, buy, etc., etc. So he needs some time. Obviously, the fans, the crowd, the owners will have a limited time of patience with it. But I think if they manage to win a few more matches, build the self-confidence, understand how to play, and find the optimal formula for the best formation that even I, as a fan, expect them to take more points. And you got to remember that last year the main problem, although they lost key players like Hazard, was not that they weren't scoring goals, but they had a shit defending line and they had a shit goalkeeper. And both of those problems seem to be bettering up now with new people in, with more confidence and experience, with Thiago Silva in the back. I mean, there haven't been too many game weeks, and all the three main defenders have already scored goals. And for me, that's a very good sign. And at the same time, kept clean sheets for a few games. But I also agree with you that the real the real valuation you can first do when they have met some really good team, which is on their level, where they have skilled players and a tactical manager, which often seems to differentiate when the teams are equally performing on an equal level. It's the manager's tactic that often proves to be the big difference.
How long are you willing
And
to
he's-
give? How long are you willing to give a Chelsea fan? How long are you willing to give Lampard?
At least
Sorry.
At least the whole full season.
Mm-hmm. And if he doesn't win this season, doesn't do well, you will still give him this season, and then it's next season where you're like, okay, now you need to do something. Otherwise, that's it. I want someone else.
Yeah, but like I said earlier, you have to look at it also towards which managers are available. Who would you replace him with today? Let's say he gets fired next week. Who would you replace him with?
The only guy I would say, Pochettino. I'd say Pochettino because I think he's dying for a gig. I think he'd be really good.
Arsene Wenger's available as well, I think. Arsene Wenger's doing nothing.
Available where? In his retirement home?
Yeah. It's quality. I want to play for Chelsea.
We're talking about. You brought up Ole's name. I don't think Ole's in that same conversation with Frank. I think Ole.
He's had enough time.
I think he's had enough time. I think they can't move on as a club if they don't replace him. Honestly.
Hey, United did well towards the end of last season, bro. Let's not forget.
No, I get that, but even I know they beat Everton, but like I just still like there's something's missing there. They should be doing better than they are.
I think there's a disconnect between.
That goes for all teams. In the end, do you blame the manager or the players? Because Freak, after he took over, they won 10 matches. They won against the best. Obviously, the players have the skill inside them, but inside of their head and their mental mind, they're not performing as well, and they don't have the confidence. So, is it the players, the managers, or do they share the responsibility?
But it's a good point, but it goes back to what you said. Is he tactically good enough? Can he, when they versus Liverpool or a Man City, can he outthink Klopp or outthink Guardiola? I don't think he can.
Ole,
I don't think he can.
I think when United first, we forget there was a bit of a hangover period, right? Because Mourinho has that effect on teams sometimes, and then Ole comes in. There's this bright light, this happy-go-lucky, funny guy, who all of a sudden lifts the team up, and the team just starts playing really well and all that kind of stuff. And then that first test, you saw with Arteta as well, right? Arteta comes in and there's an immediate lift in the club and in the team. Then you get through that little bit of a what's it called? A little bit of period where you're struggling a bit, whatever. And that's where the class and the effects of a manager really come forward to show you that I'm going to now put players in a certain position, play in a certain way that plays to the strength of my team. I can't remember maybe that game against PSG where they won when Neymar was out. I think it was last season or season before. Maybe that was the game, but I can't remember a game where Ole out-tacticianed his opposing manager. It was either they beat a team because they got very lucky on the day, or a player had a great performance. Bruno Fernandes came in at the end of last season. You talk about the run they had last season. Bruno Fernandes came in and just had an amazing assist record. It's always been something lucky or something fortunate that's happened to help Ole and push it forward. It's never been the type of thing where he's changed something, tactically that's made.
Well, at least it's not visible. Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is not visible. Even I want to go back to what I was saying before. I think it's more than Ole at United. There's a big disconnect between the board and between the management. I think it just shows you, man. Them bringing in Van der Beek, a player whose position is already filled at the club, shows you the amount of disconnect there is between the manager and the board. They don't know who to buy. They don't know how to buy. They don't know what the manager needs. Mourinho's told us.
Cavani's about 3 years late.
Yeah, Mourinho told us that I was screaming for a defender after my season where I came second, and they just didn't want to give it to me. So the board, big issues with the board as well.
That's what I'm saying. I think they're stuck in a rut. They're stuck in this like really bad moment in their history, and they need to move on from it. And that means cleaning out the boardroom, cleaning out the manager. They got to clean out, because you can't clean out every player.
You got to clean out Harry Maguire. That's who they got to clean out.
No, but I'm saying you can't just get rid of every single player. It's easier to get rid of a manager than a squad.
Yeah, true. They need experience, bro. They need experience. They need experience
Yeah.
to come and just a bit of. That's what. Look, all the great team. Look at Liverpool, man. A great mix of experience and youth. City experience and youth. You know, that they need experience in their team, which they don't have.